is firstly, she's had a major release this past week, right? She just released her newest single, which is called Tangled Shades of Brown. And I don't know if we can play the music for the intro, but if we can, that would be good. But, besides that, just tell us about what the single is about and how it, how do you feel like your single is now out into the world? How does that feel?
Feels great because it was a very long process of recording the song. This is also the first song that I've recorded all by myself without a producer, so it's a little extra special. And the reason I recorded this song was we've all been stuck at home for 2 years and with no escape, and I felt like I wanted to put that emotion into a song.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was inspired by love. The only way to escape a pandemic was, to at least look away from the situation, felt like to be in love, so that you can, finally feel like things are bright and sunny, even though they're not. So that's why I wrote this song, and I've also written the song. So do make sure you check it out. We're going to put it in the description, but do click on it and download the song. It'll really help me out.
Yeah, and where would the song be available? What are the avenues they can go to?
So wherever you listen to your music, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, you can find it everywhere. It's on all platforms. We have also recorded a music video. This is also another first for me. I've put out music before, but I've never recorded a music video. And Shelf Life's host, Simran Mendon, is in the video. So even more of a reason to go and check it out.
Yeah. And, like you said that it's your first time writing a song, correct? So what was that like? Like you've been a musician for 10, maybe more years, right? It's been what, 15? No, 10.
At around 11, 12 years.
Yeah. So around 15 years, you've been a musician, but writing is another ball game. And it's like it's a totally different world, and you need to have that mindset of writing. You need to have a writer's mindset to actually get down and pen down a song, even though it's like for people it may seem very small because song is just what, like 16 lines, 17 lines, but it's a lot of work. So what was that process like writing a song? What was that like?
So I have identified myself as a guitarist and only a guitarist for the longest time. So I didn't even bother about writing lyrics. I'm like, I play guitar and that's what I do. I don't care about writing lyrics. That's how I used to feel. But I felt like, I do write all the time. Like I keep writing down all my ideas. And one fine day I felt like looking at them and going back, and I said that maybe I can put this together and put up a nice song. And so I sat with that idea, and it was not easy because I'm not used to doing that. But I think I enjoyed the process. And, because I love a song that's well written. Like that's what catches my attention. I always listen to songs with the lyrics. I enjoy a song that's, witty and has, these hidden messages that you need to figure out. That's what I enjoy when I listen to a song.
Can you give me a couple of examples of songs that you really like that had that feel? Like if you can just rat it off your head.
Sure. So I think my favorite songwriter would be Casey Musgraves. I don't think that woman has a bad song. Like such beautiful lyrics about simple things, about the simplest things written like poetry. That's what catches my attention. So lyrics are important. So whenever I write lyrics, I want it to be great. Otherwise, I'm not writing it.
Okay, that's a pretty extreme mindset, but I like it. I like that. That is your process, and I think I've obviously seen it like up close. That you've consciously tried to, broaden your what is the word for it? You've consciously tried to broaden your outlook in the sense that you no longer just identify as a musician, like you said. You don't just play guitar, you also try to learn how to sing, and you are singing now. You sang on this song, and you've also tried to write, and so you've done that as well. And I know that you also, it's not just for you, it's not just about how do I keep taking on more roles. You actually take that seriously, and you do the background work that takes to getting there. For example, you know that to write a good song, or to write anything that matters and that sounds good and feels good, you need to also know how to read good work, right? I know that you particularly believe in that, so which is why you consciously try to pick up a lot of books now, right? Isn't that how it's been for you these past couple of months?
That's how it's been. So I think this year is a lot about overcoming a lot of mental roadblocks that I've built. I can't sing, I can't produce, I'm letting go of all of that, and trying to get into things that have scared me in the beginning. You don't have to be just one thing. You can know a lot of things a little bit and put it together to create something great. And that's where books come in. So I love I love self-help books. I need something direct that tells me that, okay, this is how you do it, this is how you can fix this issue in your head. So, I consume self-help books like water.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I picked it up from you or you picked it up from me, but even I like really got into self-help books these past like 2 years of pandemic. I used to shit on it a lot, and you know that. Like I used to hate self-help books, but there is something to it. They definitely teach you a lot about how to, just about anything. Like you can read a self-help book about anything. It could be about, like you said, fixing some stuff in your head, or it could be about, how to, I don't know, fix a leak in your bathroom or something. I don't know, anything. Like there's books about everything. So this, tell me a little bit more about how you got into this whole zone. Like how did you get into self-help? What were the first couple of books you read? And also how did that connect directly to your music journey?
So, I mean, that I'm not so big on reading. I've read on and off like that. It's not such a big part of my life. But when I was in college, I started reading because I had a very long train journey. But I think I'm too judgmental. I used to find it very hard to get a book that I genuinely liked.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think my dad passed on Rich Dad Poor Dad to me. This is when I was getting my economics degree. So, I used to enjoy all the advice that was in there, and, try to connect it to real life and talk to my dad about, I read this. How does this apply in real life? What can we do, to make my situation better? How do I use this in the future? So I enjoy those conversations a lot. But then college got over. I didn't read for a very long time again. And then because of the pandemic, I have plenty of time on my hands. And I felt like I wanted to take that step forward and, start reading, start, increasing and improving myself. Okay. So that's when I started getting into self-help all over again. So I think the first self-help book I picked up was What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School.
Okay.
Okay. And pretty interesting. Again, along the same lines of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but with a lot of, real life examples and how to, how you could apply that in your life. And that I find that very interesting.
Yeah. So I think this is one thing to note down here for our listeners who are probably like you and trying to get into this reading thing, even though I don't know, they're not really readers as such, but if they are trying to do that, they could pick this up from you, that you have this idea that you want, I mean, you read these books because you want to apply them in real life. So you don't just look for a story, which you do most of the time, but you also look for real practical things that you can apply in your actual life, and that serves as like a motivator, um, for you to keep reading that book, right? Isn't that how it is for you?
True. I mean, when I'm reading these books, I don't think I'm reading it from a entertainment perspective. I think I'm reading it because I want to take something from that book and apply it immediately into my life.
Yeah, and honestly, that's fine. That's a good way to look at it. I mean, so many people are just so busy with their lives, and they have work, and they don't really have time to uh, get that sort of entertainment from books as well, because books can be time consuming. But yeah, this is a really good approach. So if anybody is there who wants to start reading, look at it from a productivity like model. Like, look at it as something that will help you to affect change in your real life, like in the real world. So don't just look at it as entertainment, look at it as something that can help you in your life. So yeah, so tell me about
And one more
more of these.
thing,
Yeah.
if you're one of those people like me who keep saying that I don't have time to read books, I don't have time to do this, think of it as, this is something that's going to help you be more productive. So when that productivity angle is there, I tend to give that 1 hour to reading.
Yeah, I've noticed
So
that you especially have created like a routine for yourself every day, where in the morning you have to read for like, I think you read for half an hour or an hour, right? Every morning,
yeah,
like you sit with your cup of tea and you read, and that's it. And you actually yell at people if they're, annoying you during your reading time. So that's a good way to go about it. Like, put it in your routine so that you don't, mess it up. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
really helpful tip. And yeah, tell me more about these books. So this was the first one. What more? What did you really, stumble upon that caught your attention?
I think the book that I read after this was The Power of the Subconscious Mind.
Ooh,
I've got
yeah.
that one here as well. Okay. So I mean, I think every single person has to read this book.
Yeah.
Again, another book with a lot of real life examples. And it truly teaches you how to control your mind
Mm.
and how to take control of the situation without panicking, with having a little more faith in yourself and the universe. And this gives you a nice center instead of just being swayed away by emotions and your surroundings and things that you cannot control.
Mm.
So this book helped me a lot, a lot, a lot.
Yeah, and a very interesting thing about this book, and since we're talking about, real life application of books and about how they kind of, and our whole podcast is about how books connect with your real life, right? A very interesting thing here was that you actually were going through some stuff while you were reading this particular book, right? There was some personal stuff, and also just so many things were happening, especially like uh, with us being sick. I think that was the week we were pretty sick. And you
Yeah.
started reading that book. And I remember you doing this. You started to talk to your subconscious mind and telling it to heal and telling it to change and change in a positive healing way. And you experienced that, didn't you?
Yes. So, I mean, I think I've been trying to manifest things way before I read that book without even realizing it, just by, saying what you want as if it's already there. I'll recite a story that's in that book that I really like.
Yeah.
So there was a man who was absolutely broke, didn't have anything, had, bills piling up, had children to feed. He didn't have money at all. But he keeps saying, "Thank you, Father, for my wealth." And he keeps repeating this phrase over and over again. Till one day he meets some old friend who offers him a job, and suddenly everything falls into place.
Mm.
So you have to be open to receiving what you actually want. You have to believe that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, I still practice this every day before I go to bed. I say the things that I want. I am calm, I am happy, I am healthy, my family is healthy, or whatever it is that your heart desires, you say that in present tense and you just
Mm.
watch the change.
Oh wow, that's such a good uh, I mean, we don't have to get into like the intricacies of it, and people are going to debate about how, maybe it's this loud, this, that. I mean, we don't have to think about that. Even the fact that such a thing happened to even one person, it still
Yeah.
speaks for a lot. And I remember it was very similar to something that I was reading in a self-help book as well. It was called Calm Your Worry-Free Mind. And I've mentioned it in one of the earlier podcasts, but there was this one section in the book which talks about just brain waves. So basically, we have like 4 different brain waves that are responsible for your, states of mind. So if you're stressed, you go into a particular brain wave. If you're really relaxed, you go into a particular brain wave. And what that basically said was that if you convince yourself, like if you continuously tell yourself to enter into a state of mind, your brain will naturally produce more of that, uh, more of those brain waves. So if you tell yourself that, I'm going to be really relaxed or I'm going to be really calm right now, and you do the work to actually get that, your brain will naturally produce more brain waves of that particular state of mind. And I thought that was so interesting. Like you literally can change how you are. Like you can change how you think, you can change how you feel. That's so powerful. And that's what self-help books have done for you, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Changed my life. And when you see that change happening, you're more inclined to pick up another book and pick up another book, because you can feel the change in within you. So definitely try self-help books out and see if it works for you with an open mind, not to sit and judge and decide whether this is right or this is wrong, but just check it out, see if it works for you.
Yeah, even you actually picked up Dale Carnegie as well, right? Let's talk about
Yes.
that a bit.
So as someone who is starting out in their career in a lot of ways, and consciously trying to get bigger, get better, and so I'm a musician, but I also teach music. I teach guitar. So how can I get better students? How can I get more students? How can I keep those students? How do I speak in a way that engages the person? So I feel like those things are not very natural to me. I could improve on those in that region. So I picked up that book because it was recommended to me by my mom. And it's been great. It's been really, really great. A lot of real life solid advice is in there. And I think it's one of the most famous self-help books, right?
Yeah.
So
tell us the name. Oh, you got those like hard copies ready.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yes. Oh, that's like the classic one.
Yes. So when I was reading, I realized that, okay, I do follow a lot of these things when I'm working, when I'm talking to my students and I'm trying to convert demos. But, I can also apply these things in other places. I can also apply these things when I'm meeting friends. I can also apply these things when I'm trying to get gigs. It doesn't just have to be in one place of your life.
Right. And this is like I've been witness to this, because you generally don't like you don't really socialize if you don't have to. Like you don't prefer it. And even to come on the podcast, like we've talked about it so much and you've kind of always shied away from it because you just didn't like it. And I think that's fine. Like there's so many people who are like that, who genuinely don't really feel the need to, or like they feel like, I don't know, they possibly don't have the skills to socialize. And you were like that as well, right? For a long time.
True. But everything in life can be learned. If you don't have it, you can learn it. So what if it doesn't come naturally to you? I'm letting go of all the roadblocks this year. Like for the longest time, I just decided that I cannot sing. Like some people are just gifted and they can sing, but not all of us can. But anyone who can speak can be taught. So, if you don't know how to socialize and you're like me and you would rather be alone and you're an introvert, like to be in your shell, but if it helps your job, if it helps you go further in your career, why not learn that skill?
Right.
Like have some kind
Yeah.
of motivation.
That's true. And I think your motivation definitely has been, when you get into the process of reading these books and applying them, I think you genuinely feel like seeing that stuff through. Like you feel like you actually want to apply it because you've already put in so much work in reading all these books, right? And taking down those notes. So you feel the need to actually see it through. And I mean, I've seen you do that. And if it works with you, I'm sure it works with a lot of other people as well. So yeah, that's how you applied this book in real life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell us more about like the writing process for your song and what frame of mind were you in while you were writing that song, and what kind of books were, in and out of your head while you were writing that song, even if it was just like poetry that you were reading, because I know you read poetry. So like what was going on?
So what I just said about everything being learned. So I did my research. I didn't just decide to write the song. I did my research about songwriting. There are some great Berkeley videos about songwriting by a lady called Andrea. Okay, and I listened to some of her songs and I was so mesmerized by the writing. So listen to good stuff that inspires you, and maybe not don't write with the pressure of making a song. Okay,
Yeah.
write just whatever comes to your mind, and then later on another day when you find the time, try to put it into a song, because those are two different
great
sides of
advice.
your brain, right?
Yeah.
When you're being creative, you can't edit, you can't be judgmental.
Wow.
So say one day just for creating and just jotting down whatever comes to your mind, and another day to edit, to sit with the song and see if you like it or it doesn't make sense. And it took me about like maybe 2 weeks to write. I only had like just the first verse in my mind. Then I sat with my guitar and the rest of it started flowing. And that's how I came up with the song.
Yeah, and I think what you said about being creative and not being able to edit at the same time while you're being creative, that explains so much. I think I want to use that as an excuse for our like guest episodes being 45 minutes long. 'Cause you can't edit that stuff. Like everything you say is precious. So yeah, and it's so true that you've always had this stance, and I really respect that about you, that you've always made it very clear that talent is not natural. Like nobody is born with just the ability to write really great. I mean, maybe some people are, but most of us aren't. And you're not born with the skill of being an extrovert, or being really good at singing, or being really good at playing music, but you have to put in the work and learn it. And that's what
Yes.
I've seen you do all your life, and now you're doing it with books, which makes me feel great. So yeah, so that's such a great thing, and I think so many
Thank
people
you.
can learn from you in that area. Like it's very respectable. So
How sweet. Thank you.
yeah, tell me more about like what other genres are you looking at now that you've opened up your horizon to books, and what has been your motivator, and what more are you looking at besides self-help as well?
So what I've realized is when you put one step ahead, the universe takes 10 steps ahead. So, if I put out one song, I can already see like opportunities coming my way. I don't want to say too much about it, but let it happen. Let it happen. But good things are happening because, you take that plunge. You decide, okay, I'm going to put out a song. Let people like it or not. I like the song, so I'm going to put it out. And, you'll notice that small little things are happening and it's all part of a bigger picture.
Right.
So, all those things motivate me. Putting out new music motivates me. Another thing that I think I really enjoy is my students. I even the beginners, I encourage every single student to write, to create their own music. I mean, we are all musicians, not just to play other people's songs, but to have our own identity as well.
Right. Yeah.
So I think watching them, at such a young age, like 7-year-old kids writing about, or, whatever interests them, I think that inspires me. And I want to be someone that they can look up to, someone that inspires them as well. That, if their teacher's music is playing on Apple, then I think that should be something that they're proud of. So I think they also play a huge role in my life.
Yeah, and one question I had was, is this, I don't think this is the first song you ever wrote, right? Like, I think you've written like songs before as well, like when you were a kid.
Yes, I did write as a kid, but then so it's a bit. I mean, I write a diary every single day. I don't know if you consider that writing, but
it is definitely.
It is okay.
Yeah.
So I guess my whole life is documented since I was like 8 or 9 years old. You can read all my silly mistakes, all my dumb decisions someday.
And you've kept all of them?
Yes.
Wow, that's why your room is so messy all the time.
Yeah, it's legendary to read all the things I've done and why I did all of them. But it's funny.
Yeah, I mean,
so they're not going anywhere.
Someday someone could just compile all of your diaries and create like a biography of your life. How would that go?
Amazing. Like I have the diary where I've made note of the first time I picked up the guitar and what I felt.
Oh wow.
And it melts my heart.
Oh man, that is so cool. That is so
cool. And the journey has come so far, and so I had no idea back then. I just enjoyed, and I drew a guitar in my diary, and I made a picture of how to hold the C major chord. So it's very sweet. It's very sweet.
That is really nice. I mean, this might be a stretch, but I really feel like you should put that picture up, somewhere, just to kind of. Okay, that was pretty quick, but that's fine. Though it sounds really nice, and the fact that this is an actual thing, that's really cool. And yeah, I mean, I forgot to ask you the most important question, the question that I usually start like all the podcasts with. What are you reading right now? Like what's your book right now?
So right now we are reading Ikigai, which you stole from me, but I started reading.
I didn't steal from Yeah.
But that's what I'm reading right now, and I'm enjoying it. It's got it's not about business, about like the previous books that I mentioned, but it's more about how to stay calm, how to live a good life, how to live a long and a happy life that means something. Purpose is very important in every person's life.
Right.
So, whatever that purpose is, try to, walk in that direction. Have a big vision of your life, but, take small steps towards that. And that's how we should lead our life every day, with some purpose in mind.
Right. And would you say that this book kind of cleared that up for you as well? Like it made things clearer in terms of perspective and purpose and all of these things?
I've still not finished the book, but it's definitely a good one. And I agree with a lot of things written over there. It's also, it gives you a lot of practical advice about, exercise, what you should eat, what is going to make you feel happier and healthier. Like this thing that you and me have been practicing is Hariachibu. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but
yeah, I don't know if we're saying it right.
Sorry about that, but what it means is only eat until you're 80% full. There's no need to overeat and just be just can't get out of bed. There's no need to be like that.
Yeah, and it
So I'm
also
sure that
it's sort of like it's for your digestive system, like so that it has more time to process everything that you're eating. It's not like overburdened. So yeah, there's a biological, like, it's a process. So there is some scientific backing to all of this. Yeah.
definitely, like, you can't keep blaming your environment all the time. We have
True.
we have to accept that we have no control over our environment and what happens around us, but we do have control over, our decisions, what we put in our body,
Yeah.
what we consume, what we watch. All those things definitely make a difference on your mental health, right?
True.
So I mean, that's what that book teaches you.
Yeah, and that's so true. Even in terms of like books, I feel like a lot of times there are a lot of people who kind of try to read too much. Like that happens as well. People try to cram a lot of books in because they probably want to like write up a review, or they're trying to finish some sort of they have some sort of thing in mind that they need to cover all genres or whatever it is. But even with books, sometimes it's a lot to take in. Like you get very invested in the process of reading a story, or really reading a really good story, and that can also take a toll on you, even though it's a good thing. So I guess that's the same with musicians as well. I think, do you see a lot of musicians uh, overdoing a good thing?
You can overdo it anywhere, for sure. I mean, I think social media lately, it has, I felt the pressure as well of, releasing something new every week, having the quality up there, and, just creating unnecessary stress that is not required.
Yeah.
So, you can overdo it anyway. If there's, if your friend is posting every single day and you're just posting every week, you start feeling that pressure of, oh my God, and you stop enjoying the process. I
True.
mean, how is that a good
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Like,
there's one section in Ikigai which is just about how to enjoy the process instead of being hyper focused on the outcome. And they keep I think there's some interviews that they keep doing that they did with these 100-year-olds, right? Like in Japan.
correct.
And basically all of them just said that you have to enjoy the little things, and you have to enjoy the everyday of your life, and not be stressed out about how much time you have, or what's your deadline, whatever. All of those things, you need to enjoy those little moments that you have. So yeah, that's a very practical tip again from you. um, tell us more about, just to wrap this whole conversation up, give us some more recommendations and tell us about uh, what you're planning to do. Like, what's your scene right now? How are you? And what, where are you right now in life? And where do you plan on going? But before that, give us some really good recommendations, because you've read a lot. Tell us.
No, I haven't.
I mean, you read a lot of self-help these past couple of months to, transform yourself. Uh,
Yes.
yeah. So tell us more.
So, Rich Dad Poor Dad for sure, because the language is so easy
Hmm.
and keeps you interested. Like, if you're someone who wants to, make money when you're sleeping, you should read that book. And I mean, I'm sure I didn't understand every single sentence in that book when I read it, but I could take up a lot of things from that book.
Hmm.
And I do plan on going back and reading it, because we should all have control over our money. So, do read Rich Dad Poor Dad. My second recommendation would, it would definitely be Power of the Subconscious Mind.
Of course. Yeah.
I'll read this book forever and ever. And a ton of stories about what can happen if you just learn how to speak to your mind.
Right.
Okay.
At this point, I think I wanna interject and say that even the book Stop Self Sabotage by Judy Hope, which I know you've read, would you say that also kind of is in the same like arena. It also talks about how to take more control of your actions instead of trying to feel sorry for yourself or trying to, fall back into your same old patterns, taking more control of your mind. So that would be a really good recommendation too, wouldn't you say?
True, absolutely. I didn't complete that book, but not because it was not good. It was great. I just really enjoy. I don't enjoy reading on the tablet or any of that.
Yeah,
I
Kindle.
enjoy a good book. So that's the only reason I haven't completed it, but it was a really good book.
Yeah,
So I
that
think
was.
that's one you can check out. I am planning on reading The Richest Man in Babylon.
Hmm.
Haven't started it, but heard great things about it.
Hmm.
So check it out. If it's bad, it's not my fault. But
Yeah.
it's definitely one of the books that's up there with Rich Dad Poor Dad. And how to influence your friends, how to make friends, how to win friends and influence people. For sure, you should read.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if in case there's people who are really, interested in self-help and they want to know more about self-help, we've also done one more episode on this topic with another guest. He was our first ever guest here, Mr. Sudhir Putran. So if you are really interested, you can go check out that episode as well. And Sachi, thank you so much for coming here. But tell us before you go, tell us how you're doing, what you're trying to do, and also what is the one message you want to give out to our listeners.
Okay, great. How I'm doing? I'm doing great. I'm feeling very happy and joyful. So the things that are lined up for me right now are so my band is called Bluesberry. We have started an open mic event in Navi Mumbai. So we're trying to build a community, a musician, not just a musician community, anybody who loves music, comedy, art, storytelling, whatever talent you have, bring it to us and we're going to showcase it and give you a platform. So planning on making that bigger, taking it to more venues, and just moving in that direction. Other than that, I have my rock school grade 8 exam, which is coming soon. I'm
That's
going to
all
be
you've
done.
been reading for a while, right?
Yeah. So that's what's coming up. Other than that, there are some things, but I'm not allowed to talk about it yet because let it happen. But you will definitely be updated if you follow me on my Instagram and Facebook.
They definitely should. Our listeners should follow you on Instagram and all of those places. And yeah,
great selfies.
Yeah, one last message that we want to give to all the people who are listening and who are, who don't consider themselves readers, but they could try reading. Any message you want to give to them?
So I think the main message I would say is don't expect to feel better if you're not willing to take a step forward. Or don't expect to suddenly be able to do the things that you've told yourself that you can't do for years. You need to, consciously plan and make an effort. Only then you're going to be able to break those barriers, whether it's by, reading self-help books or watching self-help videos on YouTube. We have all the resources available. So, there's nothing really stopping you from being the best you can be.
Yeah.
So why not? You owe that to yourself, right? You owe yourself to feel good about yourself, to feel better. So just be kind to yourself and, take that step so that you can be the best version of yourself, not for anyone else, just for you.
That's a really great message, and I love that it touches more upon mental health. Even though we've like kind of covered mental health in this episode, it sort of really touches home with that. Especially since September is Suicide Prevention Month, so it's really good that you talked about how resources are always available, especially online. So that's a really great message to give. And thank you so much for coming here and
thank you for having me.
Yeah, gracing our season 2, and we're gonna have a lot more fun. And yeah, thank you for all the suggestions that you gave for books. I'm sure that our readers will, go ahead, look at it, and They'll also listen to your new single, Tangled Shades of Brown. Check it out
Yes.
everywhere. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, everywhere, even on YouTube. So I'm going to link that in the description. Don't forget to check that out. And thank you, Saachi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you next time.